You're listening to Classical Pacific on HPR2, your home for classical music. And I'm so glad that you're here because Jim Moffitt, president of Chamber Music Hawaii, is here for our Chamber Music 101 this week. Thank you for
Hi,
being
Shireen.
here. Hi, Jim. How long have you been with the Spring Wind Quintet?
I joined the Spring Wind Quintet officially in the fall of 1986. And I had played the first Spring Wind concert under the auspices of Chamber Music Hawaii in the fall of 1982. I played bass clarinet on the Janacek Mladi for wind quintet and bass clarinet. So I've been around forever. Don't worry, I'll leave soon. Anyway.
Well, I'm really looking forward to the Chamber Music Hawaii season starting up in September.
Mm-hmm.
And the season looks great. There's 12 concerts, and right now, if you get your season tickets, you'll get a discount, and it's a great time to go check out the website at chambermusichawaii.org. And what are you really excited about this season?
Well, that's a broad question because my answer is going to be equally broad. I think they're all terrific. You know, we all get together, all the musicians get together, and we collaborate on formulating a season. Some stuff goes, some stuff stays, some things get massaged. And so when we're done, it just feels like, yeah, this is really something we can all get behind and want to do. So every concert is creative, it's unique in its own way, and I look forward to each one of them. From the early September concert on. This year we're expanding into June, another terrific season ender in June next summer. So I like them all.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I know that's not specific enough answer, but I think it's true.
That wasn't fair of me. But last season, Spring Wind Quintet, Scott retired from the Spring Wind Quintet, and that must have been really tough. You've been together for a long time.
Yeah, Scott joined the group in the early 90s, 1993. Tremendous musician, just tremendous musician. Obviously, outstanding oboist, but beyond that, he's also a gifted pianist. And he brought a lot of integrity and self-sacrifice to the group. He handled our education outreach program personally throughout the state for 20 years and really had a profound impact on our ability to reach out to all the different, certainly students, sometimes even adult education stuff. And we miss that. We miss his artistic leadership. And we're moving on, looking for someone new. We've been working with a couple of really terrific oboists, Alex Hayashi, who I first knew when he was in the Youth Symphony. He sounds great. He'll be playing with us this fall a lot. And since Marcia Schweitzer, founder of Spring Wind Quintet in 1974, a scant 50 years ago, she's also officially retired now after 50 years in the group. And so we've named Tommy Morrison, who's also acting principal bassoon in the symphony, as the next bassoonist in the Spring Wind Quintet. So it's a lot of fun. We've worked with a number of different bassoonists, and we really like Tommy, so we're extremely excited to have him there. He's going to add a lot, obviously artistically, but also I think his input on repertoire and other things like our education program will also be really, really valuable. And it'll be fun, I think, for the audience to experience that with us.
He's such a nice person also, and he was here for the Atherton concert series in January, and he was fantastic.
Oh, he's great. He's a fantastic player. No doubt about it.
And so you have a concert, the Rameau is on that program, also a Coleman, the Ravel. Can you tell me about that concert in particular, the Spring Wind Quintet's concert?
Sure. That's in November. That's our first spring wind only concert of the season. And it's about French music through time. That's why you can see the lovely clock graphic on our website. But we start with Rommel from years ago, or early 1700s, and we're doing an arrangement for a wind quintet of his gavotte with 6 doubles, which just a way of writing. I don't need to fully discuss the architecture musically, but it's a really cool piece, and I know the arranger, Roihei Nakagawa. I knew him at Aspen. Really great bassoonist and a prolific arranger for woodwind. Woodwinds obviously featured the bassoon a lot with his instrument, but all the woodwinds. And it's a very successful arrangement. We're looking forward to starting the program with that.
And but the Valerie Coleman piece is something that I'm really excited about.
So are we. In fact, I'm going to go practice right now as soon as we're done. Yeah, Valerie Coleman is another visionary artist, and she was one of the founding members of the Imani Wind Quintet and has become a really prolific composer as well. So we were trying to do her nonet a few years ago. I think she's revising it, so we haven't been able to do that yet. But we've wanted to try this one for Walid Tzigane, which, of course, harkens to Ravel's solo violin piece of the same name. And so this is kind of a tour de force for a wind quintet. And it's written by someone who's very active today. I'm sure we'll seek and receive input from her on it as we rehearse it. But it is a lot of fun. Really cool, really cool.
And that's music by Valerie Coleman, the Tzigane, and it will be featured on the November concert of the Spring Wind Quintet. That is a beautiful piece.
It is. It's really exciting. It's really terrific. And again, it's so great to, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, you can talk with the composer. We tried to do that with Mozart, but we lost his cell phone number. And so it's really, really fun to collaborate with artists in your era.
Yes, and then, but this concert is over time. It starts with Rameau.
Right, with French music over time, correct, in honor of the Olympics.
That is not true.
Sure, of course.
Tell me about the Ravel.
Sure. Well, you were just playing the orchestra version, which a lot of people know.
Mm-hmm.
They probably also know it's originally a piano work, and not all the movements made it into the orchestra version. And we have a version, kind of a standard version, been performed for many years by woodwind quintets internationally, done by a former hornist of the Philadelphia Orchestra, Mason Jones. Really terrific. But he used he used one different movement from what was in the orchestral version. And Marcia Schweitzer has arranged the one he left out, and hopefully we'll have even all of the ones in the original piano version to present to everybody. It's a tour de force, very difficult with Ravel's piano and then orchestra writing, and it's certainly a challenge to play. And the audience, it's very enjoyable from the audience standpoint. And they're welcome to help me play some of the notes. That'll be fun.
I'm also looking forward to The General, the Buster Keaton movie, where you provide all of the music.
We do.
That is such a fun event, and I'm glad that you're doing it again this year.
Right. We normally liked to wait about 3 years between Rick's appearances. They're fun to do and great, but we just want to create even more excitement by waking people awake. But one of our board members at Hope just insisted that we do this movie. He loves it. And he knows, he went to the same high school as Rick, actually, back on the East Coast. But it's a fun film. Really, Buster Keaton was one of the giants, obviously, still is. And I was looking at the cast earlier today, and I saw that he put his father in the cast, which is great. But it's from the late 20s, 26, so like the year before Talkies came in. And what we really like with Rick, that I find extremely interesting, is he's such an amazing researcher. He looks at all these silent films that we've done and that he does around the world, and he finds exactly what was played. He finds the playlists that were used in the premieres of these films, and they were done in a way where the film was sent out on reels to various theaters around the country, different copies, and they also sent a playlist of music to the theaters. And the theaters were expected to have a library of their own, and also receiving, and so they could pull hopefully some of these from the playlist, or they would have to obtain them if they didn't have them. And then the musicians in the pit would play them, sometimes up to 4 shows a day. I remember when I started my career in the early 70s, the people who were retiring and kind of my age now would talk about how they got their start. They played in silent movies. They would go and play 2 shows in the maybe a show in the morning, maybe 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and then 1 at night. They did that every day. That was the soundtrack. They were the soundtrack. And when Talkies came in, there was actually an upheaval that some of the live music, artistic interaction and collaboration with the film was going to be lost by integrating it into the actual soundtrack. So I just admire the way Rick lets us play exactly what they played at the premieres of these. One time when we did a couple of shorts, including some Keaton shorts earlier, he brought some music that was published at the Honolulu Publishing Company on Fort Street Mall in 1916 with a couple of well-known Hawaiian musicians of the time, Sonny Kuna, Johnny Noble, and that it's just those things are kind of lost, and he brings them back. And there were different configurations depending on the size of the theater, but we're doing the 11 instrument, which was a pretty good standard size of the pit orchestra, 11 instruments. So you have a string quartet double bass, flute, doubles, piccolo, clarinet, 2 cornets, not trumpets, 2 cornets, trombone, and then percussion, which adds a lot to the soundtrack, of course.
Well, it's such a romantic idea, the silent films.
It's true.
Yeah, I just love that. And it is so much fun to watch the music being made. And sometimes you don't realize, you just got kind of swept up in the movie, in the film, and then you realize that, wow, there's music right there.
I agree. And, of course, the symphonies around the country, Hawaii Symphony no exception, we've done that with a lot of more or less current movies where we play the soundtrack and they show the film with the soundtrack removed from it, and so you get the live music effect. But this, in our case, with these things, this is how it was originally done. This was the way you first saw the film, what you experienced. Rick actually dresses the part, too. He dresses in an old theater music director outfit he has. And it is a unique experience, which is, as you say, a lot of fun. That's really a terrific opportunity for people to experience Chamber Music Hawaii in a little different way than you might have or you might even expect. So I strongly recommend that as well.
Yeah, and it's great for families too to show the kids how films were shown back in the day, in the early days.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming in to talk about the CMH season. Chamber Music Hawaii will start their season in September, and you can find all of that online at chambermusichawaii.org. And there is a discount on season tickets right now, so it's a really great time to get your season tickets. And it'll help with planning, actually.
Without a doubt, yes. Yeah. We'd love to see everybody there. We guarantee each concert has something different, but something you will enjoy.
Thank you, Jim.